And we're back for another day. Warm up today is going to be done from the ground, so if you need an ab mat or a yoga mat, feel free to grab it now, hit pause, grab it, come back, and we'll get ready to rock and roll. As we go through this, if anything's giving you a hard time, ditch it. Planks are always an amazing way to warm up. No matter what you're doing, add some planks and you'll be in a good spot. So we're going to be starting onto our backside, just laying down. I got this dang post in the middle of all my videos, but for the time being, it'll have to do, right? So we are going to be tucking the heels nice and close to our butt, and we're going to be bringing our hips up into the air, squeezing the glutes, driving through the heels for some traditional glute bridges. As we're doing this, we really want to open them up as far as we can. For some of us, if we're tight in the hips, I fall into that category big time. I'm really tight in my hips. This becomes a challenge, but it becomes really important. So especially if you find yourself sitting a lot during the day, whether it's in the car, at a desk, wherever it might be, opening up the hips becomes an important piece to what we do. Our warm-up today is going to be a little bit slower, but don't let it fool you. We're going to get you ready to rock and roll for your workout today. So let's take 2 more glute bridges. And finishing that last one, we'll turn this into some traditional sit-ups. So we're going to be bringing our hands up overhead, sitting up all the way through. Knees can be bent, they can be straight, they can be splayed out. However feels most comfortable for you is good by me. Going for those sit-ups, and if we need to, we can always go into the crunch, bringing hands behind the ears, making sure we're not pulling on our neck too hard. Or again, those traditional sit-ups will be just fine as well, getting that core nice and warm. Going for one more, and to roll on over, let's get into plank. You knew it was coming. If you do my warm-ups, you know I like plank. With that plank, we've got a straight line all the way across the backside. My shoulder, my elbow, my wrist are also all in line. Whenever I do plank, the microphone always hangs nice and close to my face, so if it gets distorted, that's why. I'm sure you can still catch my drift. You know what we've got going on. From here, let's take into our downward dog position, taking a few pedals of our feet back and forth. Now we'll go 3-legged downward dog, which means our right leg is going to go up into the air, and then we'll meet our right knee to our nose. So we're crunching that close and extending back up. Now as I'm going through this, yoga is not my background. I do have a little bit of knowledge in it, enough to use it for warm-ups, but if I'm ever off on a pose, don't take it personally. Let me know, and I'll be happy to make sure I correct it. But regardless, it's a great way to warm up. All right, we can come down, we'll let those shoulders shake on out. And we'll do the exact same thing. Who would have guessed on the other side, right? So finding plank, send the hips up, a few pedals of the feet back and forth, and we'll start with 3-legged downward dog on the opposite leg. Whatever leg you were not on, driving that knee to nose, and back up. Doing this along with you here today. If you hear my breathing, I apologize, but you for sure know it's doing the trick for me too. We'll go one more. Letting the knees drop down to the ground, coming into our child's pose. So we're sitting onto our heels, reaching our hands out as far as we can. If you're comfortable placing your head on the ground, we can do that as well. I'm not going to because my microphone gets stuck in my teeth, and that's not good for anybody. Maybe you're in your basement or maybe you're in your garage somewhere where you don't feel comfortable with your head on the floor either. That's just fine too. We'll walk our hands over to the right side, getting a really good stretch down the left side of your body. Taking a couple deep breaths, breathing into some of these stretches. And we'll bring that over to the other side. And taking some good deep breaths. Enjoying this stretch. This is a good one to do all the time, especially if you have any issues with your shoulders. Sometimes having tight lats, which is what we're stretching right now, helps relieve a little bit of that stress, relieve a little bit of that tension. As we come back, we're going to find our plank position again, stepping one foot to the outside of your hand. So for me, from the front here, my hands are on the ground and my foot is right next to it, or my back knee is also on the ground. I'll show this from the side, buys me a little bit more space. I don't have to worry about this darn post. Taking some deep breaths. Now make some circles with that knee around that ankle joint. If you can see, my heel is still on the ground, so that's going to be our cue as we work through this stretch. We'll take those in the opposite direction. Now we're going to stay here. Elbow trying to drop to the inside of your foot and then open up towards your knee. Now, I am close. I'm really close, but I cannot get my elbow all the way down to the ground, and that's okay. I'm just getting better and better each day. At least that's the idea, right? Taking one more. All right, returning back to plank, stepping your opposite foot on up. And just for right now, just hanging out here. So we're just gonna sink into this stretch. Now I noticed that my right side is much tighter than my left. I don't really know why, but it just always has been. So even if you're not able to match the same distance down, that's okay. But we're looking to match the feeling of it at least. So we're still looking to push those limits a little bit without pushing them too far that you're causing yourself any pain. There's definitely a difference between some discomfort in stretches and pain. Now we're going to turn those into some hip circles. We always want to avoid the pain. No pain, no gain isn't always the case. And we'll take those stretches over, those circles rather, over to the other direction. Getting both sides in here. And now we'll drive that inside elbow down and up. I definitely noticed that I can't get down quite as far on here as I can on my other side. But again, just working to your range of motion on each side is all we're looking for today. This is a fantastic way to start off our workout. Taking one more. Returning that back into our plank position. We're gonna be working some push-ups. We can always drop to the knees for our push-ups. During our warm-ups is a great time to build that push-up strength. So whether we do it from the toes or the knees, elbows stay tight to the body. We'll go at one push-up. At the top of that push-up, we go to downward facing dog, pressing your chest back towards your knees, feeling a good stretch to your shoulders, returning back. Here's number 2. We'll be going 5 of these. This is nice and slow and methodical. Again, drop to your knees if you have to. And even take a break in here if you need to. This is all in the sake of getting warm. All right, we're gonna drop down here, shaking those shoulders out just a little bit. I know I always feel it from there. From here, guys, what we're gonna be planning on doing is speeding things up just a touch. Let's find ourselves in plank and bringing some slow mountain climbers, bringing the knee in towards the middle of the chest. Now we're going to go to the knee to the outside of the elbow, holding this plank. Now if you need to, drop down. Don't worry, you can take a quick break in here. Now we're going to go opposite knee to opposite elbow. Nice, slow, methodical. Man, my shoulders are burning up right now, but we're almost there. And coming back down into center, taking one last stretch here before you get to get after your workout. We're gonna sit back onto our heels. If that hurts your ankles, we can just take a kneel, it's fine. We'll be bringing opposite arm across the body. Taking a couple stretches, a couple deep breaths. It's a great combination. And going over to the other side. Again, those few deep breaths, such a great way to start off the workout. If you have some time after, I always suggest some stretching, some nice gentle stretching after your workout too. Helps the body shake out some of that soreness, which is always a good thing. You can come back tomorrow ready to go. All right, shake out those arms. You are ready for your workout. Hope that warm-up helped. As always, I hope you're not sick of me saying this, but it is so true. If you're doing the right stuff, results always follow. Congratulations.